I think that the key takeaway here is that we've got this new therapy type it works differently to the old ones that we're familiar with from the past. It's really interesting and powerful, but it's really expensive, and hopefully they find ways to make it more accessible to everybody as this technology gets better and better, and it gets implemented more and more around the world, I hope. That would be my hope. My research is about studying the CAR T cells and how they work in a bit more detail. So we know that they work, but we don't actually know exactly how they work because they're very different to a normal T cell. We know that they're different and that they work differently, as in the signals inside them are pretty different to a regular T cell, actually. And yet they still kill what they need to kill. So people don't really worry about that too much. But my research is trying to focus on how they work in a bit more detail, like the signals that they have versus a normal T cell. And the hope is that if you understand that a little bit better, you can design a better protein to activate the T cells even more powerfully than they are already. I think the way that we're going to make this work the best is to understand how they work better, because really our understanding of the immune system is quite new. We didn't even know what an antibody was until the 60s or 70s. And now we're able to manipulate it in all of these ways. I think it's quite fascinating that we've gone from only finding the structure of DNA a few decades ago to now being able to introduce it to a cell and manipulate an immune system to target a target of our choice. And these things sound crazy. There's so many more things I could talk about, like base editors and CRISPR and gene editing and things like that. But it's such a big and diverse field that it's hard to mention everything. And if anybody has any questions or would like a part 2 or a deeper dive into any of these things, I think that would be also a fun episode to do.
I really enjoyed this discussion. I think just preparing questions for this podcast was extremely interesting. There is a field that is so unknown to me and probably to most of the listeners. And I think that the type of research that you're doing is extremely interesting because for the first time, or one of the first few fields where we move away from physically doing a surgery to then just encoding instructions into the body. And not only we're doing this, but we're solving the biggest cause of death in the world. And we are now, I think this is honestly incredible. And I think everybody should at least be familiar with the field because the odds are that we might need to either treat cancer for ourselves or we'll know someone that will be in a situation similar to this.
Absolutely. I mean, I find it fascinating as well, of course. I never really was passionate about what I did before I found this subject, so I'm glad I did. And the thing I love about it is that I can experiment with crazy ideas as well, because it's such a new field that there's room to play with random ideas, and you can test silly stuff. Most of it doesn't work, but when you find a random thing that does, then you feel pretty good about it because you're a pioneer at the early stages of something, right? That's why I like it.
Well said. Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Well, thanks for the questions, Fede. That was really... I enjoyed discussing it. I could talk about this all day.
Yeah. Thank you for taking the time. And I encourage anybody that has questions to put them as well on the podcast. And you can take them and we can do a round 2 and answer more specific questions from the audience.